Welcome back to Tell Me More Stories Told as Podcast. Glad to have you here for another deep dive. Today, we're stepping into a world that's both familiar and, well, kind of strangely mysterious.
Mhm.
The world of mirrors.
Mirrors, yeah, they're intriguing objects, aren't they? I mean, they're just part of our daily lives, yet they've got this deep connection to history and science and even mythology.
Exactly. We use them to check how we look, sure,
Sure.
but they reflect so much more than just our appearance.
Right,
So
right.
get ready to explore the whole fascinating story of mirrors, from their ancient origins to their kind of mind-bending science, and their lasting cultural impact too.
You know, it's fascinating to think about how the whole concept of reflection, how that must have first captivated our ancestors, long before the invention of polished glass or anything like that. They would have seen their reflections in natural surfaces, like still pools of water or even shiny pieces of obsidian.
I can imagine those early humans just completely mesmerized by their own images, shimmering in the water. It must have been almost magical, like looking into another world.
It really is a reminder that the human fascination with reflection, it's deeply ingrained in our nature, I think. We're drawn to understanding ourselves and our place in the world. And mirrors, they provide a unique tool for that exploration.
It's incredible to think that something as simple as a reflective surface could have such a profound impact on how we understand ourselves.
Yeah.
And speaking of history, how do we go from those, natural reflections to creating the first manufactured mirrors?
Well, as humans started experimenting with different materials and things, they discovered that certain stones, like obsidian, could be polished.
Hmm?
And that would create a reflecting surface that was, more durable, more portable.
Obsidian, that's volcanic glass, right?
Yeah.
I never realized it uh, had practical uses back then. Ed,
Oh yeah, it was highly prized actually for its reflective properties. Imagine those early humans, carrying around pieces of polished obsidian just to catch glimpses of themselves.
that's a fantastic image.
Yeah.
I wonder if they use them for more than just, checking their appearance, maybe for signaling or even some sort of early communication.
It's certainly possible. Yeah, we can only speculate really about the specific ways in which those early mirrors were used. But it's clear that they held a significance, I think, that went beyond just practicality.
It makes you wonder what those early humans thought when they looked into those obsidian mirrors. Did they recognize themselves? Did they see something, I don't know, something deeper, something more profound in their reflections?
Those are questions, yeah, that have intrigued philosophers and scientists, for centuries. The act of seeing oneself reflected back, it's a powerful experience, one that can, spark self-awareness, introspection, even existential pondering.
It's amazing how these seemingly simple objects can raise such profound questions. And speaking of profound questions, let's fast forward a bit in history. When did metal enter the picture in the world of mirrors?
The Bronze Age, as you might guess, marked a significant shift in mirror making. So, with the advent of metalworking, mirrors made of polished bronze, copper, and even silver began to emerge.
Ooh, fancy. So were these metal mirrors available to everyone, or were they more of a luxury item?
That's a great question. And the answer, as with many things in history, is it depends. While metal mirrors were certainly more common than those polished stones, the quality and the material itself definitely spoke to the owner's, wealth and status.
So even back then, mirrors were a symbol of status and craftsmanship.
Absolutely. Skilled artisans, like those in the ancient Nubian kingdom of Kerma and the Kajia culture in China, they became renowned for their ability to craft these highly sought after objects.
It's incredible how certain cultures developed, such expertise in mirror making. What were some of the challenges they faced in creating those early metal mirrors?
One of the biggest challenges, I think, was achieving a smooth, highly polished surface that could provide a clear reflection. It required a lot of skill and patience to work with those metals and create a surface that was free from imperfections.
I can imagine it was a painstaking process. It's a testament to the dedication and the artistry of those early mirror makers. And speaking of artistry, how did the Romans elevate the craft of mirror making?
The Romans, known for their love of luxury and opulence, they took mirror making to a whole new level.
Yeah.
During the Roman era, silver mirrors became a true mark of wealth and status.
Ah, the Romans, always pushing the boundaries of extravagance.
Yeah.
But didn't silver tarnish easily? How did they keep those mirrors gleaming?
You're right, silver does tarnish. Keeping those Roman silver mirrors shiny must have been a constant chore, probably requiring special cleaning techniques and a dedicated team of polishers.
I can just picture a team of Roman servants meticulously polishing those silver mirrors to maintain their brilliant shine. Talk about a high maintenance accessory. But despite the upkeep, those silver mirrors must have been quite a sight to behold.
Oh, they were indeed. Imagine the reflection of candlelight shimmering off those polished silver surfaces, creating an atmosphere of both luxury and mystery.
It sounds absolutely captivating. But as beautiful as those silver mirrors were, they were still limited by the technology at the time. What was the next big breakthrough in the world of mirrors?
That breakthrough that came with the introduction of glass mirrors in the first century CE, this marked a major turning point in the history of mirror making, paving the way for the development of the mirrors that, we know and use today.
Yeah, it was a fascinating process, really. They would coat the back of the glass with a mixture of tin and mercury. Then they would carefully heat it to evaporate the mercury, and what was left behind was a thin, reflective layer of tin that adhered to the glass, creating a remarkably clear and bright mirror.
Wow, that sounds pretty ingenious. But wasn't mercury, incredibly toxic? But it's amazing to think that people were willing to risk their health or even their lives to create these beautiful objects.
You're absolutely right. The process was incredibly dangerous for the workers involved. In fact, many of them suffered serious health problems due to mercury poisoning. But the demand for these Venetian mirrors was so high that the risks were seemingly overlooked. It really highlights the value that people placed on mirrors. To think that they
Uh-huh.
were literally risking their lives or the lives of their workers for a perfect reflection. What does that say about human nature and our desire to see ourselves clearly?
It's a question that has echoed through history, hasn't it? The pursuit of beauty, the desire for self-knowledge and the willingness to take risks to achieve those desires, all those elements are intertwined in the story of mirrors.
It's a story that's both beautiful and tragic, reflecting the complexities of human nature itself. But those Venetian mirrors, they were just prized for their clarity, were they? There was something almost magical about them, a sense of artistry that went beyond mere functionality.
Absolutely. Venetian mirrors, they were works of art in their own right. The artisans who created them, they were masters of their craft, and they adorned those mirrors with intricate designs and elaborate frames, elevating them to objects of true beauty and luxury.
Yeah. I can just imagine those Venetian mirrors gracing the palaces and grand homes of Europe, reflecting the wealth and sophistication of their owners.
Yeah.
But how did these Venetian marvels eventually become accessible to, well, everyone else?
That's where the Industrial Revolution comes, in advancements in glass production, like the invention of the ribbon machine, made it possible to mass produce large sheets of high quality glass.
Right.
And that dramatically reduced the cost of mirror making.
The democratization of mirrors.
Yeah.
So thanks to those industrial advancements, everyday people could finally afford to have mirrors in their homes.
Exactly. Plus, in 1835, a German chemist named Justus von Liebig, he developed a new method for silvering glass mirrors using a chemical process. And this innovation made silvered glass mirrors cheaper and safer to produce than ever before, making them even more accessible to the masses.
So by this point, mirrors are readily available and affordable. But what about the science behind those reflections? How do those seemingly magical surfaces actually create the images that we see?
Let's talk about light. When light waves hit a smooth surface like a mirror, they bounce back at the same angle they hit. This phenomenon is called specular reflection.
Okay, so light bounces back, but why does that create a reversed image? I mean, it's always left and right that gets flipped, never up and down.
That's a question that has puzzled people for centuries. It's not actually a left-right flip, but rather a front-back reversal. Imagine stepping through the mirror. Your front would become your back and vice versa.
Right.
But your left side would would still be on your left relative to your body.
Wait, so it's like I'm turning inside out.
Precisely. And because we're used to seeing the world from a front-facing perspective, that front-back reversal creates the illusion of a left-right flip.
That is so mind-boggling. I never thought about it like that before. It's like our brains are playing tricks on us, interpreting that front-back reversal as a left-right flip. What's fascinating here is how our brains perceive depth in mirror reflections. Even though the image is technically two-dimensional, we get this sense of depth, almost like we're looking into another world.
Exactly. And that slight offness is what makes mirrors so intriguing. They reflect reality, but with a twist.
Speaking of twists, aren't there tons of myths and legends about mirrors, like they're portals to other dimensions or something?
Oh, absolutely. Mirrors have been objects of fascination and superstition for millennia. They feature prominently in folklore and mythology across cultures. Take, for instance, the ancient Greek myth of Narcissus.
Oh yeah, Narcissus wasn't he the guy who fell in love with his own reflection?
Precisely. Narcissus was so captivated by his own image in a pool of water that he wasted away, unable to tear himself away. It's a classic tale of vanity and the dangers of self-obsession.
A cautionary tale for the selfie generation, perhaps, but those ancient myths often hold deeper meanings, don't they? What do you think the myth of Narcissus is trying to tell us about ourselves?
I think it speaks to the duality of self-reflection. Mirrors can be powerful tools for self-discovery, helping us to understand our strengths and weaknesses. But they can also become traps if we become too fixated on our own image, losing sight of the world around us.
It's a reminder that balance is key, right? To use mirrors for self-awareness, but not to let our reflections define us.
Exactly. And that balance is something that has been explored in countless works of art and literature throughout history. Artists and writers have used mirrors to explore themes of identity, perception, and the very nature of reality itself.
It's like mirrors provide a portal into the human psyche, reflecting our deepest fears, desires, and aspirations.
They do. Think of all those classic paintings with figures gazing into mirrors, lost in thought. It's as if the mirror is offering a glimpse into their inner world, their hidden thoughts and emotions.
And then there's literature full of stories that use mirrors as portals to other worlds or as objects with magical powers, like in Lewis Carroll's Through the Looking Glass.
Through the Looking Glass. What a fantastic example. Alice literally steps through a mirror into a topsy-turvy world where logic is turned on its head and nothing is quite as it seems. It's a brilliant exploration of the power of mirrors to challenge our perceptions and expand our imaginations.
And who could forget the iconic phrase from Snow White, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?"
It's a testament to how deeply ingrained mirrors are in our cultural imagination. They represent vanity, self-reflection, and even the search for truth. They can be used to reveal, to conceal, to distort, and to illuminate. The possibilities are truly endless.
It's incredible to think that something as seemingly simple as a mirror can hold such power and complexity. But before we get lost in the labyrinthine world of mirrors and their symbolism, let's shift gears a bit and talk about how mirrors are used in technology today. It's not just about checking your hair anymore.
Oh, definitely not. Mirrors are essential components in everything from telescopes and lasers to solar power plants and even your high definition television. They've become indispensable tools in modern science and technology.
Wait, my TV uses mirrors. How does that even work?
Yeah, many modern televisions use a technology called DLP, which stands for digital light processing. It involves a microchip with millions of tiny mirrors that move incredibly fast to reflect light, creating the images you see on the screen.
That's incredible. It's amazing to think that those little mirrors are working so hard behind the scenes to bring us our favorite shows and movies. It seems like mirrors have come a long way from their humble beginnings as reflections in still water.
They certainly have, and they continue to evolve and find new applications in cutting edge technologies. For example, scientists are now using mirrors in advanced imaging techniques, medical devices, and even in the development of new forms of renewable energy.
Speaking of cutting-edge technologies, I've always been fascinated by those massive solar farms you see in the desert. Aren't those giant arrays of mirrors designed to harness the power of the sun?
That's right. Those are concentrated solar power plants, and they use mirrors to concentrate sunlight onto a central receiver,
Hmm.
generating intense heat that can be used to produce electricity.
It's like something straight out of a science fiction novel,
Yeah.
turning sunlight into power using mirrors.
It's a testament to how simple yet powerful these reflective surfaces can be, and it's not a new concept either. The ancient Greeks were already experimenting with parabolic mirrors to create burning mirrors capable of igniting objects.
Burning mirrors, like setting ships on fire with giant mirrors. That sounds a bit far-fetched, even for the ancient Greeks.
There's a famous legend about Archimedes, the brilliant Greek mathematician and inventor, using a massive array of mirrors to defend the city of Syracuse against a Roman fleet.
Hmm.
The legend claims that he focused the sunlight from the mirrors onto the Roman ships, setting them ablaze.
Okay, now that sounds like something straight out of a movie. But was it actually possible? Could they really set ships on fire with mirrors back then?
It's been a subject of debate among historians and scientists for centuries. Some believe it's plausible, while others argue that the technology of the time wouldn't have allowed for such a feat. The myth persists, however, fueled by our fascination with the power of mirrors and the ingenuity of the ancient Greeks.
Well, whether it's myth or reality, it definitely adds to the mystique of mirrors. They have this incredible ability to capture our imagination, sparking both wonder and a touch of fear.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about another fascinating aspect of mirrors, one that delves into the very nature of consciousness itself.
You're talking about the mirror test, right?
Exactly. The mirror test, what's that all about?
Mhm.
I've heard of it, but I've never quite understood how it works.
It's a fascinating experiment used to determine whether an animal possesses self-awareness. Basically, researchers place a mark on the animal's body, usually somewhere they can't see directly, then introduce them to a mirror.
And if they recognize themselves in the mirror and try to touch or investigate the mark, that means they're self-aware.
Precisely. It suggests that they understand that the reflection in the mirror is their own image and not another animal. They have a sense of self, a concept of me.
That is so wild. It's incredible to think that we can use mirrors to explore such profound questions about the nature of consciousness. So besides humans, which animals have passed the mirror test?
Great apes like chimpanzees, bonobos, orangutans, and even gorillas have shown evidence of self-recognition in mirror tests. They exhibit behaviors that suggest they understand that the image in the mirror is a reflection of themselves, not another ape.
So our closest primate relatives share this ability with us. But what about other animals? Have any surprised the researchers?
There have been some fascinating findings with dolphins and elephants. Both species have exhibited behaviors suggesting self-awareness when presented with mirrors.
Dolphins and elephant. That's amazing. It makes you wonder what's going on in their minds when they see their own reflection.
It challenges our assumptions about in the animal world and raises profound questions about the nature of consciousness. What does it mean to be self-aware? How does this awareness evolve, and how widespread is it in the animal kingdom?
It's a reminder that we're not alone in our capacity for self-reflection, even if those reflections take different forms. But before we dive too deep into the philosophical implications of the mirror test, let's wrap up part two of our journey into the world of mirrors.
That sounds like a good plan. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the history of mirror making to the science of reflection and the mind-bending mysteries of the mirror test.
We've seen how mirrors reflect not only our physical selves, but also our culture, our technology, and even our deepest philosophical questions. But our exploration doesn't end here. Join us for part three of our deep dive, where we'll delve further into the cultural and philosophical implications of mirrors and explore their significance in the modern world.
Don't miss it. We'll be right back after a short break.
Welcome back to Tell Me More Stories Told as Podcast. For the final part of our deep dive into the fascinating world of mirrors, I'm still reeling from that mirror test discussion.
Yeah.
It's incredible how something as seemingly simple as a mirror can reveal so much about the nature of consciousness, not just in humans, but in other animals as well.
It really does make you question our place in the world, doesn't it? For
Yeah.
centuries, we humans have looked into mirrors and seen reflections of ourselves, pondering our identity and our place in the cosmos. And now we're discovering that other species may be doing the same, engaging in similar acts of self-recognition.
It's like the more we learn about mirrors, the more we learn about ourselves and the interconnectedness of all living things. But let's shift our focus back to humans for a moment. We've talked about the history of mirrors, the science behind their reflections and their presence in mythology and folklore. But what about their significance in our everyday lives, in the here and now?
That's a great question. Mirrors are so ubiquitous in our modern world that we often take them for granted. They're in our homes, our cars, our pockets. We encounter them constantly throughout the day.
It's true. I don't think I could go a single day without looking in a mirror at least once.
Yeah.
But beyond their practical uses, what do you think mirrors say about us as a society?
That's an interesting thought. Some might argue that our obsession with mirrors reflects a culture of vanity and self-absorption, where we're constantly bombarded with images of idealized beauty, and mirrors can become tools for self-scrutiny and even self-criticism.
The whole selfie generation.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. But I think there's more to it than that. Mirrors also represent our desire to understand ourselves, to see ourselves as others see us. They provide a unique perspective, allowing us to step outside of ourselves, even if just for a moment, and examine our physical presence in the world.
It's like that saying, the eyes are the window to the soul, but the mirror is the window to the self.
Beautifully put. And that search for self-understanding, it's a universal human experience. Mirrors, they provide us with a tool to explore our own identity, to confront our strengths and weaknesses, and to come to terms with the complexities of our physical self.
It can be both empowering and challenging, can't they? On one hand, they can boost our confidence, help us to present ourselves to the world in a way that feels authentic, but they can also be sources of insecurity, highlighting perceived flaws and fueling those negative self-talk loops that we all fall into from time to time.
That duality is at the heart of our relationship with mirrors. They reflect both our outer and our inner selves, our beauty and our imperfections, our confidence and our doubts.
It's almost like they hold up a mirror, not just to our physical selves, but to our emotional and psychological states as well. The way we perceive our reflections can be influenced by so many factors: our mood, our self-esteem, even societal pressures and expectations.
Absolutely. And that's where the real challenge lies. Learning to use mirrors as tools for self-acceptance rather than self-criticism. It's about seeing beyond the surface, recognizing that our reflection is just one facet of who we are.
It's about embracing the whole package, flaws and all, right? Celebrating our individuality and recognizing that true beauty lies not just in our physical appearance, but in our character, our values, and the impact we have on the world around us.
Well said. It's a powerful reminder that mirrors can be both empowering and deceptive. It's up to us to choose how we use them, to decide what reflections we want to focus on.
Folks, we've covered a lot of ground today, from ancient history to modern technology, from myth and legend to the science of self-awareness. we've explored the many ways in which mirrors reflect not just our image, but our culture, our aspirations, and even our deepest fears.
It's been a truly eye-opening journey, and we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of mirrors.
We'll see you next time on Tell Me More Stories Told As podcast for another deep dive.